Hi everyone, it's Mish here and welcome to my channel. If you're new, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you see and want to subscribe. And for those of you who are my crafty friends and kindred spirits, thanks so much for coming back today. Today I'm going to continue on with the Junk Journal January. This is part 2. I'm not able to do the prompts every day just because of my work schedule and life in general. So I'm going to try to do a number of prompts in one video. This is part 2, and I'm going to pick up where I left off. It is January 11th today, Saturday, January the 11th. I'm not sure if I'm going to get all the prompts up to today done, but we'll make an attempt. The prompts that I will be looking at, I've written them. I've got this on this little sticky, but I find it hard to see this one. I'm going to be doing embossed, tuck spot, antique, and hidden. So those 4 for sure. So I'm going to start with the emboss. For my embossing, I took one of my embossing folders, a Christmas themed one, and it was this one here. I got a piece of vellum, and thankfully the top of this embossing allows me to put it in and then have extra so I can fold it over as a flap. If you have an embossing folder and yours doesn't do that, you could always just make a panel. So I've made a little, I'm going to make a little note card. So that's just plain and simple embossing. I could go over with my distress inks and make that pop out a bit, but I really like that subtle effect. And this is just on some vellum that I had got from Michael's last year, and it does have a little snowflake motifs already printed on the vellum, but you could use plain vellum for this, or you could always do a mono stamping. So just take your vellum and then some white or opaque ink and stamp it and heat emboss, and then that would pop as well. Actually, that's a really good idea. I might actually end up doing that. But so there's my embossed little card, I guess we're going to call it. And then I just took some really thin paper from my Moleskine journal that I have, and just going to put a little panel on the inside, and then I can put writing, I could put a photo, and then I've made 2. I'm going to put one on the front and one on the back. With vellum, if you use just PVA glue, so your glitter glue, your berry glue, your Elmer's glue, it does tend to shrink the vellum, and I don't want that to happen. That doesn't happen if you do use a Fabri-Tac, but I find the best thing for adhering to vellum is just some double-sided tape. So I'm trying to center that a little bit and get it straight and off to the side. And for that, I just had a die cut. I just put it through my die machine. But if you don't have a die cut big enough, or you can always just take some pinking shears or deco scissors or a border punch and just go around the border. So I'm going to try and line this up. And I got the bottom okay. Here we go. So there we have my little card. And I've already cut out a piece of paper, and I've left a 1/2 inch little flap along the sides to make a little pocket that I want to put the vellum in. I was thinking that I might do it here or here. I'm going to do it here on this page. I put some score tape down on this beforehand because I find the score tape really adheres well for things like pockets where there may be a little bit of pressure or strain. I'll try to line that up. And I want it close to the edge. And I wanted my little border here to be showing at the bottom. Okay, and that should close. That page should close, yeah. All right, so we have our pocket down. And then your little note card just slides in your pocket like such. And I used a solid background, so it should allow that vellum to pop, which I just love that. And then we can use this for whatever we're going to use in the future. I have a couple ideas for how I want to decorate that. But so there's your embossed. The second is tuck spot. For the tuck spot, I'm also going to use some embossed images. And this image here is embossed with a Stampin' Up! Stamp. Now, when I lived in the UK for many years, and when I moved back in sounds like the snow plow went down the road, but I don't think it snowed overnight. Forgot to look outside. It's 5:45 in the morning. When I moved back from the UK, I wasn't into where I could get stamping supplies and whatnot. But I'm a nurse, and one of the girls on the unit gave us all Christmas cards. And on her Christmas card was an embossed image like this, except she did hers on a black panel. Well, I fell in love with that image, with this stamp. And even, so then I joined Stampin' Up!, blah, blah, blah. But it was a really old stamp, and it wasn't until a couple years ago that I actually saw this on Facebook Marketplace. And as soon as I saw that, I knew I just had to have this. Anyway, so I bought the stamp, and years later, I did my own embossing. So with this one here, I just used my Versamark and put my powder, did my heat embossing, and then I have a little embossing pen, and I just went over, once that was dry, I went over the little poinsettias with the embossing pen and used a little bit of red powder just to make it a different color. I really love that. So I want to use that. And then this image here, I didn't emboss this. It's factory embossed. But what I love about it is that I've had this tag since 1996. And it's just always been in my Christmas stuff. This is so old, really, to have it in such good shape. A good friend of mine at the time gave it to me. And I'd always had it in my Christmas wrapping. I have a tote with Christmas wrapping paper and stuff, thinking that one day I would stick it in a journal, because it just brings back really happy memories of a time when, at that time, I worked, and I hadn't been a nurse very long, and right from school, I went into long-term care. As here in Nova Scotia, the jobs when I graduated, were mainly full-time jobs, were mainly in long-term care, even though there was shortages in the hospitals and stuff. And it just brings back so many memories, and I really cherish that time. I've loved long-term care. I've worked long-term care as well as acute care. I've been a cardiovascular nurse and all kinds of different streams of nursing. But the long-term care is really special. I'm going to do this as my tuck spot, and I'm using just kind of coordinating red from the other to match the other side. I'm just thinking if I want this to be a big pocket, or like what we did back here. I also have added some stuff, which I'll go through. I don't know where that page was that we added. Oh, for M's birthday here. Kind of like that, and then I think I'll do similar, because actually they're kind of similar. Let me see. I think I'll match this, but do it the opposite way. To match that, I'm going to take my ruler, and I'm going to measure up, sorry if my head gets in the way, 3.5 on this side. Go 3.5 on this side. And it went to sort of 4 5/8. So 4 roughly here. And that was roughly, we don't have to have it exact, but it was roughly here. Okay, and then you could just use your straight ruler and a X-Acto knife. I'm just going to mark here. Just going to line up my marks. So that mark that I made there, the top mark that I made there, and then I'll just take my scissors and cut down to there. And it should be roughly the same, yeah. And then I'm going to stick that in that corner. As you're going through the book, you won't say, oh, look, that's exactly the same as that page, but your eye may like it because there's some symmetry there. And then I'm just going to put something a little bit firm behind there for right now. And with this, I'm just going to glue that down. It's a paper on paper, and I use Elmer's Glue All, which I always find for me is a good glue. It holds good. It holds well. Okay, and then get that down. So then this will be a cute little tuck spot. And I'll have my favorite, stamp. Wish I had some really, I thought I ordered some Christmas little doilies with the deep reds and greens, but I don't think I must not have ordered them because I never received them. I could put a little white doily there. Doilies are kind of fun. Like that. Yeah, that's kind of good. Put that down. Save a little bit of this. Never know when you want a little something peeking out. Okay, and then just try to center that a little bit. Can you guys see that? Yeah. All right, and then we'll get that down. We could also we could make that dimensional if you wanted and put a little bit of metallic thread behind it, but I'm good with that. There's going to be other things tucked in below there. All right, so I want to put some glue just on this part here that's going to be on that corner tuck. Okay, I think so. All right, so there's one tuck spot where I could have also used this as a journal card, except there's writing on the back. Well, I'm going to use it as a tuck spot. You know what? I think I'm not going to use this as a tuck spot. I think I am going to just put it in my journal. However, it's a little bit big to be in that tuck spot. I don't think the page will close properly. But my idea was, I could always put a score there so it folds down. My idea was just to do another tuck spot somewhere in here and then just adhere the bottom part and use that as a tuck. I think I'll hold off on that just for now. I'm not really sure. So there's your tuck spot. The next thing is tuck spot antique. For my antique, I wanted to create, I have in my I have a Christian Bible dictionary. I don't even know if it's, well, it is Christian. It's really old. It's antique. And the pages all have started to fall out. So every now and again I take one of the pages, because I don't keep it's hard to keep the pages that are all falling out in a way that's going to preserve it. And this was one of the pages, and I really liked Adoration. So I feel that I'm doing a Christmas journal, and that's what Christmas is about. Adoration of the Lord. So, his child. Anyway, but I'm going to use this antique page just to create a fold out for my journal. And I just did a little template. I usually always do a template. And what I want to do is just fold, it's going to be very simple, is fold that up. And this is so old that it'll crack the pages, so I need to be careful with this. I might actually need to reinforce it, but I'm going to do it this way. And then I want the Adoration on the outside. Okay. I was going to do something else with this. I had some good ideas, and I haven't followed through the ideas. But, right. And then I just wanted to put this in the journal somewhere that is going to be a little bit protected, because it is fragile. And I'm running out of... I kind of like it there, that we can have our little tags there and then have a little spot. I'm going to use some washi tape on that, and probably yeah, I think that's what's going to go right here. And I am going to use my glue, double-sided tape. You could also make this into a tuck on the side and only glue down 3 of the sides. But where this is quite fragile, I am going to, actually I'm going to reinforce the side with some washi tape. And the washi tape I'm going to use is probably going to be gold. And I'm just bringing over some washi here. I don't have any really thick washi tape. So I have those colors, but they're just little skinny ones. I don't think I have a thick gold one here. I'm just going to use one of these, I think, to go up the side. And it's not extra thick. It's about 1 centimeter, a half an inch-ish, if I can find the side. And it's just to protect this spine for when I'm opening and closing the book, the folder. It doesn't really have to be, it doesn't have to be that thick. I just want it to go along the edge there. I usually start, when I do taping over a spine, I usually start in the middle and press out, and I find I have less bubbles or wrinkles in my washi. Oh, that looks nice. I think I'll put it along the bottom too while I'm at it. And the thing is though, I kind of like how that looks. However, this is already, I could put clear tape along the bottom, but I'm just going to follow through with the theme and just put some, the pocket's not going to open, but it still needs to be reinforced. So let's just use this. I can also layer, I just had the end there. I can also layer. Now this is going to be seen back and front, so we do want it relatively straight. I'm going to use these words to help me line it up here. just going to use those words there to line that up. Okay. And then we'll fold that over. Like so. Okay, and then we have, it's a little bit, this is old washi, this washi tape. It's a little bit sticky. And we can always layer up the washi tape too on that. I can see where I wasn't exactly straight on this end. So if we want, we can then take, I don't know if I want to take this washi because it's kind of sticky. Take another washi tape. Let's take this one. It's a little bit more sparkly. Or we could take, I love this one. And this seems fitting because it's kind of ornate and reminds me a little bit of antique lace. We could use this one. This is one of my favorite ones. I don't even know where I got this. I've had this one a long time. Let's see if I can get it off this paper. My thumbs this morning. There we go. I'm always talking about my thumbs. Okay. And we can get that down like so. Alright, and then that just has a nice little finish on the inside. And then I'm just gonna, you could angle your pockets too. I don't think I will. I think it'll be fine. I'm just gonna put a little bead of glue on each side though. Yeah, this is an antique. So this book was published in 1903. And they say that an antique is, you know, like over 100 years old, I guess is what the general definition of an antique is. All right. And I'm not really bothered that there's this rough edge and this part you can see on the inside, kind of like, oh. Hang on, it's telling me low battery. I forgot to plug it in. Alright, I just plugged it in. We'll see if it keeps going. Alright. Okay, so I like how that washi is. And then we can decorate that a little bit more. And I am going to just adhere it completely to the, to the page. And that's not going to work. I knew that in my head. I was thinking, that's not going to work. Because the page is so old. It's so fine. It tears the pulp off it when you try to use the tape runner. I am going to use a Fabri-Tac instead of my Elmer's glue. Fabri-Tac has no water in it. It's silicone based, so it won't warp your page. And I definitely don't want this warped. I'm going to just put down those ridges a bit, as those probably would be seen through the page, as this is so fine. Okay, and then just going to center that a little bit. Try to get my line a little bit straight there. And then I'll press that down. And a little washi sticking up a little bit there, but it's not really that sticky. Okay, so there's my antique page. I also have a couple things that I want to add in, and I don't think it'll be on this page, I'm not sure. But it's a little key that looks antiqued. It has that antique finish, and it reminds me of a little antique key. It was just in my stash, just the style of the skeleton key. And then my bulb clip has an antique finish. And I do want to use this today. I'm just going to put it somewhere where I'll remember, which I probably won't. But I'll put it in my little bucket there. And I might use it on my next project. So there's antique, something you can do with the antique. And then we'll decorate this. Actually, we could decorate it now. There was two other things that I had pulled out that are not antique, but reminded me of antique. And that's, I don't know even where I have these. They've been in my stash for a little while. But they're these little tags, and the finish on them just reminds me of long ago. Just reminds me of just things that you see long ago. They do have a dimension on them. A little piece of foam tape, which I don't want in this instance. And I thought that would be cute, that he's kind of walking along on the bottom there. So we could add that, and we could layer up. Just not sure. I'm going to have a think about that and come back and decorate that. The next prompt was hidden. With the hidden, I'm going to do a hidden paperclip, but I'm going to do it with a twist. I have these little tags that I really thought were so cute, and I thought a good way to put these in my junk journal was to make them into a hidden paperclip, which is really, really easy. I have and this is where I'm thinking I'll hang one of my antique things off the thingy there. So I have some paper clips, and these are about 2 inches. And then I just have a few strips of paper. So to start off with, I am going to put my paper clip in the center, and I've made them so that they're just smaller than my tag. My tag is about 2 1/4 inches, and my strip is about 1 3/4. I'm just going to slot it in, fold it up. I'm going to fold it over. I might need to cut this strip. And then I'm going to cut this strip. And then I will be tucking this strip up like that. So we have the paper clip enclosed. All right. If you had your page, you can slip this in and out. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now I have found that it doesn't really matter. However, if you are so inclined so that it doesn't get caught up, so I got some glue, what we can do is pull this one out, and then just here put a little bit of glue on each side, and maybe in the middle across the bottom. All right, and then fold it over and adhere the glue, and then on this side here, just put a bunch of glue on the last little flat part, this one here, so that when you fold it over, it's not going to get in between. It's just going to stay. It's just going to adhere to, just let me get this in, and then there we go. And then you can just press it down. We just want to make sure that the glue stays in between the 2 pages that are around the paper clip and not in this area here. So you might just want to, if you feel like the glue might have slipped in between there, just put a piece of paper until you're absolutely sure. Right, so then we're just going to take our tag and we're going to just adhere it inside of the tag. And just going to put glue here. Again, making sure we're not getting it in there. And we're going to put some glue there. And then we're going to glue that onto here with enough glue that it sticks. And then gently stick that down. Okay, and then while that's drying, I'm going to do this one here because I think this is the one I want in my thingy. So I'm just going to do the same thing. You could pop out a ton of these. And they're cute little things if you had a little sale or something. You want it to have just a little, you know, sometimes it's nice just to have a little cute little things that people can buy. Stick them in your, on your gifts, a different way of putting gift tags on. Okay, and then I'm just going to put a little bit on this flap here. And then fold that one in. Oh, and here comes my boy. Hi, buddy. What's going on? Yeah? Yeah, I know. That's Chester, for those of you who are new here. He likes to contribute to the videos. He comes in and makes sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. He hears my voice, and he's a very talkative cat. He's always been a talkative cat. He talks in his sleep, even. If my mother was still alive, she'd say that the cat is a spitting image of me. I even talk in my sleep. I talk so much as a child. But this is where I thought I would stick my bulb, my little antique looking bulb pin and little key, just as a little decoration, just to give it a little bit of more dimension. And you could keep going. So for this one here, even though it opens up sideways, you would put your thing in there and then glue it. You'd need to slit it here though, so that it could tuck in. You can't really do this one this way, but you could use this tag and cut the tag in half and then glue it on to make it look like this. And with these ones here, I made a bunch that were sideways. So again, you just put your paper clip this way, but then instead of clipping down on the top of the page, it would just clip to the side of the page this way. And I thought that was a cute little hidden paper clip. And I hadn't seen many people using your little tags. I got my tags, I think, at, I think these ones I picked up at Walmart. And then I'm just going to stick this maybe here on this page, the top of the page. You might have to, you want to make sure you're gluing that tag, gluing it down well. And there you go. You've got a little hidden paper clip that kind of sticks out a little bit from the top, which I like. And you can see your little key, your little antique key sticking up there. And it's a good little bookmark too. If you are working on a certain page, I used to have a really long bookmark that if I was working on a certain page, I'd put the bookmark there so I didn't have to flip through all the time. So that would be a good page marker as well. That's the prompt for hidden. We've done trim. And now I just need to think about magazine. I'm going to go away. I'm going to think about the magazine part of it, and I'll be back. Okay, and I'm back to do the magazine. What I did when I went off searching for stuff is I pulled out a few magazines. This one wasn't really helpful. And I just looked through. I really loved this one. I loved the Somerset magazines. And in this magazine, there was quite a few things that I could have used. What I did use is I cut out this gingerbread greetings. The reason that I did that will become apparent. The other thing I did is I went to last year's Daphne's Diary. This is 2023, number 8. And for those of you who don't follow me or follow my Daphne's Diary playlist, quite a long time ago now, at least a year and a half ago, I've started a Daphne's Diary glue book kind of journal using Daphne's Diary. I do have all the videos in a playlist on my channel, which is Daphne's Diary. And I don't like to use Daphne's Diary for other projects I work on. Just for me, I don't want to be oversaturated with Daphne's Diary and just to use other resources when I'm doing other projects. But I did go to this magazine and forget what page it was on, but there were some little cutouts that you could use to make silverware holders. And I should have paid more attention to which page, and I don't think it really matters. But in this edition, there was these cutouts of trees, and the idea was that you slit the back and then pop that piece forward, and you could put silverware in for your Christmas setting. What I've decided to do instead with this one is take some trim, and this goes back to using trim. This was a piece of wire ribbon, and I've taken out the wire, so I've just cut it and pulled the wire out. If you want to use your wire ribbon and you don't like the ridge, you can always just cut that off as well. And then on the back of this, I just used some Fabri-Tac and put a little bit of, I think this is watercolor paper, which is around 300 GSM, I think. And I just did that to make that a little bit more rigid. And then I'm just going to take my Fabri-Tac and I'm going to glue it to my trim there, and I'm going to make a belly band with this. So I just want to get this centerpiece glued onto the ribbon and let that dry before I actually get it down. And I'm just going to press that on there and get it all over my fingers. Okay, and then adhere that. Get that nice and good. And then I'll set that aside to let it dry. And then move on. With the other magazine piece that I'm going to use, I'm going back to this spread that I did with the food. If this is the first time you've watched my channel, I am doing Junk Journal January, but I'm doing it in my Christmas journal that I started in December because I just want to finish that up. I have a little thing here of bits and pieces from this Christmas and a Happy Mail that I got. Valentina had sent me this, and Chris, I did get a Christmas card from Chris, so I do want to add some more things from Christmas into it. And from that, I remembered I'd had this picture, and this picture is from the 80s, which of course Mish doesn't just do a gingerbread house, she does a gingerbread village. And this was, my mother kept this in her house as I was living with my mother in the 80s, except when I was away at university. And she kept it for years and years and years. And you can be amazed how long you can keep a gingerbread house. But in this little village, I took some paper and I cut out all the gingerbread pieces myself. It wasn't a kit, of course, back then. I don't think you could get a kit. And all the little plastic bits, I'm trying to remember where they came. There's a man and a woman kissing there. And there's just different little plastic people I've sat around. And I don't know if you remember way, way back, you used to get a little, and I think you can still get them at Superstore, but a little plastic Santa and reindeer. And my brother, oh gosh, we had our first one in the 70s, and my brother claimed it, but it since got destroyed. Anyway, so I saw this picture, and then I saw this caption, and I just wanted to do a little journaling around this little gingerbread village, and maybe a little bit of something about the 80s. And I was thinking, did I just want to put it down as a picture or what? But I've decided that I just want to do a little journal card. What I'm going to do is just get this down, and then I found just some little gingerbread people that I'm going to embellish on the front of it. I did take my corner rounder and I've rounded the corners. I'm just wondering if I just want to cut this out or if I want to leave it square. I think I'm going to just fussy cut that out. Why not? And I remember the afternoon, I was in high school, I believe, and we were off on Christmas break. My mother was working, and I was always a baker. I started baking when I was young, like 11 probably, and she was at work, so I just thought, I'm going to do a gingerbread house. Well, then we had a piece of wood in the basement, and it had lights on it that you could plug in and light it all up. Crazy, I know. Okay, so I'm happy kind of with that placement there. And I'm just going to use some Elmer's glue. Get that down. It's pretty. I printed this off on glossy photo paper, so it'll withstand some glue. Okay, and then I'm just going to go lightly with this. This is a magazine photo or a picture, and if I'm too heavy with the glue, it's just going to warp the pages, the paper. And I can put that about there. And then I fussy cut these. I was trying to think when I was cutting these out where I got these, and I think I got them off Raw Pixel. I'm pretty sure. This one here was from a DigiKit, and I can't remember right offhand what DigiKit that came from. So I thought that was kind of cute. And then on the back side, I'll put the little gingerbread house. And I could take this around the sewing machine, but instead I will just go around the edge and do maybe just a little sort of scrolly line just around the edge with a little dot in the corner to kind of frame the journal card a little bit. Okay, and then I'm happy with this little memory, and I thought I would put it somewhere on this page. Either I'm not sure how I'm going to fix it in, but so that's one thing that you can do with a magazine, and just go ahead and look for headings, titles, or even just words to do a word collage. And let's get back to this guy. So that's no longer sticky. And I wanted this where that thing is we made right here. And then I'm just going to tack that down like so at the top and the bottom, just with some Fabri-Tac, just in case that's still a little sticky. I'm just gonna put that down on the back side. Okay, I want my tree to be centered and not impinge the. That's pretty good. I'm just gonna put some Fabri-Tac here and get that down. On my page. I might need it's sticking to my fingers. So I've got a little silicone brush here. Sometimes that helps. I might have to go back and reinforce this after, but you get the idea. And I'm using Fabri-Tac so it sticks to the ribbon a little better, to this trim. Okay, and I just want to stick this in here just to make sure it doesn't stick to my page. Okay, so that's the magazine. And I just want to add a little bit more trim. While I was off figuring things out, I found some trim that I picked up from Winners on this. Really, I just love the spool, I think. I've been wanting to get that in, and then I think I just mentioned this before. I got this last year at Winners, and I wanted to put a bit more of this. I did put a little bit on the front cover, but I wanted to put some in here. One of the places I thought needed a little something was here on the side, but I didn't really like that. I wanted to go back to the envelope, that right here, and I'm thinking I want to put a little bit at the top there because I think that would look nice. Just cut a bit of that and put a little bit across the top here. Get that down. And I'll trim it up after. I also wanted to put a bit of that trim somewhere else that I thought about putting it, but I can't remember now. Well, it will come to me for my next video. I also wanted to just put a little bit of this down, and I almost, so this goes back to hidden. We already did the hidden paper clips, but when we put in this card, we put a little washi tape there, which was the back of the card. It's actually on the card, and made a little pocket. And I actually forgot there was a pocket there. So that is definitely a very good hidden space. I was actually going to put some trim there, and then I was like, why isn't that even? And then remembered that there was a little hidden pocket there, which you can do with anything, but I did with a Christmas card that I wanted to keep in my journal. And this, I believe I wanted to put, well, again, that slipped my mind, so I'll put it in for next time. I think the video is getting a bit long, but I just want to do a little bit of flip through with things that I have actually added in. I did write on the back of this, I'm not sure if I said this last time, and I've added a couple pictures from my conference, and I will be going to the Bridgerton this weekend, so I'll be adding to that. And I've written on some memories on the back of that tag, and I think I have shown this, as well as have written some little hidden messages in there. I have decorated, and I've written a little bit about these photos, which were of my mother and her grandfather and her brothers. So I wrote a little bit of bits in there, and we've seen that. So I think that might have been, oh, and then I haven't done Em's birthday yet, but they're busy there doing one of the puzzles I mentioned before, and I just happened to have a piece of one of the puzzles, and I thought that would be a nice little memory to stick in there. So I stuck that there, but really haven't done anything with that yet. And I believe that's probably, I finished my story on a little piece of paper and put a little sled with the presents, if you remember the story, the crazy story. And then today's. So thank you for watching. I'm going to go do some housework this afternoon, get this as this is uploading. And I have to do Marguerite Miller for tomorrow, Sunday. It's week 2. If I don't have it out if I don't get a chance to get it filmed and reviewed and edit it and upload it tonight, it will be up either tomorrow or Monday. But I hope you have a safe weekend. I hope you do stay safe and well. And if you like this, give me a like and subscribe. And until we meet again, bye for now.